Today is Friday, June 12th, and it is my anniversary. Today we celebrate 21 years of being married, my husband Brian and I, and so right now I'm actually getting ready for work because with everything that went on, originally the 13th was supposed to be my son's graduation party, so I had taken part of the day off work today. We weren't really planning on celebrating our anniversary too much because I'm going to go ahead and get into my look though. I'm going to use my Huda Beauty Rose Gold Remastered palette, and we're going to do just a pretty little simple kind of pink eye, and I'll explain to you why. Anyway, we weren't really planning on celebrating our anniversary this weekend because originally we were going to be going to Tennessee at the end of June, so we were basically going to celebrate then and just, you know, kind of, we have this weekend was going to be my son's graduation party weekend, and so we thought, you know, we're busy enough with that, blah, blah, blah. Well, then with everything that's gone on and having to cancel his graduation party, and Michigan was supposed to be under the stay-at-home order until today, I had just taken myself, like I had, you know, obviously before asked for the days off of work, and so I had just scribbled that off on the calendar so that my boss could schedule me. Not, you know, because I was thinking there's nowhere to go, nothing to do anyway, so what's the point? Well, then, of course, the governor opened things up early, and restaurants started opening this week, and so we can actually go do something, but that's okay. I work a really weird shift today. I wish it had been an 8 to 12 like my normal, because then I would be out at noon, but instead it's 11 to 3, and so no big deal. We are just planning to go to dinner tonight to celebrate our anniversary. So that should be really fun. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to wear my hair down because it's only supposed to be 65 here today. Thank you, Lord. That's like a little present for my anniversary because God knows I don't like the heat. And we've had some, you know, high 80s days, and that's a great big no thank you for me. So yeah, so even though I have to work, I decided to curl my hair and stuff, and just hopefully they won't have the heat on at work, because I've mentioned before, our headquarters is in a southern state, and they regulate our heat and air, and they think 65 is cold, clearly, because sometimes, well, not sometimes, usually the heat is on. So I wasn't really thinking about that when I curled my hair, so I could be a disaster by the time I get home from work, but I'll just have to get ready if need be. And I figured, you know what, I'm going to do a whole face of makeup, even though I have to wear a mask, and just touch up what gets messed up while I'm at work. So no big thing. So that is kind of what my plan is for today. Is, you know, we're gonna go out to eat later and just really enjoy the day together. This is the part I'm not sure what I want to do, because I don't want to go like crazy pink. I know I'm gonna wear either I'm gonna wear jeans, and then like cute shoes, heels, you know, like wedges. And then either just, it's like a cream flowy shirt, or I have one that has more like colors, like kind of flower, it's floral, but it has pink in it. And so I knew I wanted like kind of a soft pink look for today. I did my nails last night, so I have pink. They're a little messier, I'd show them up close, but from a distance they look a lot better. And so I'm trying to decide what I want to do. I guess maybe we'll go into this darker risque color. That's what it's called. I'm not calling it a risque color. It's called risque. But yeah, so we're trying to decide. I think we might go to Black Rock, which is a steakhouse where you cook your steak on an actual black rock. Like they bring you out this hot rock and you cook your steak on it. It is amazing. I am not typically a steak girl because I like my meat very well done. Like I don't want there to be any pink. And it's hard to get places to cook that for you. Like, I think they do not want to cook meat that well done. So I never, ever get steak. The only time I ever have steak is at my mom and dad's, for the one side of our family for Christmas. My grandma would always buy the meat, and she would buy steak, and my dad would cook it. And my dad, you know, cooks it like I like it. He would make mine the way I like it. So that's really the only way only time I ever really have steak. And so we had heard about this place, and the first time we went, I got fish and just a little tiny steak because I wasn't sure how I'd feel about it. Well, then I was like, oh, next time we come here, I'm getting a big old steak, and I did, and it was delicious. And the girl was like, look at you. I'm like proud of you. I didn't think you'd be able to eat all that. I was like, oh, no. Like, I can pack down some food. You don't even know. So, yeah, delicious. So we might be going there. Things are sort of weird right now, though. Like, you can't really make a reservation, but you sort of can. You can call ahead and it puts your name on a list where it's not really a reservation. Like, you can't say, like, you're coming in at 7 and you're going to get seated right away. But it means that you have precedence over other people that are already standing in line, I guess. I don't know. So I think that might be what we are doing. Not positive, but we kind of have been talking about it since last night, trying to figure out exactly what we want to do, because there's 2 of them. They're both about an hour away, and one is in a direction where there's like nothing else, and then but that one's usually not as busy, and then the other one is in like a big city, but then that would give us the opportunity that there might be, there's probably stores open and stuff out there and more stuff to do. So I think we might be doing that, going the direction where there's more to do, just in case we feel like we want to do something. And I was really surprised the other day. I had a migraine. Thankfully, not as bad as like my typical ones that are making me throw up and everything else. Like, thankfully, not that. But still a migraine, and I was at home. I had worked in the morning on Tuesday, and then while I was at work, I was like, oh, this is not good. It's not good. And I made it through my shift. That is another reason I'm glad I only work 4-hour shifts, because when stuff like this happens, well, if I'm in the thick of the migraine, there's no going into work. I mean, that's just not, I can't even function. But it was just like sort of starting the night before, and I knew it. It always is like that. And so I went to work Tuesday morning, and I made it through my shift, and I came home and I ate some lunch and was trying to like power through. By like 1 o'clock, I was like, nope, can't do it. Went in and laid down, and I was down and out for the rest of the night. And then Wednesday, I woke up miserable with it still, of course. But like I said, not as bad as they typically are, so I am thankful for that. And so then I, was just at home. But I was able to like get some things done. I actually was really productive, even though I didn't feel good. Like, I had like moments of feeling okay, and I was like, well, I feel good, I'm getting stuff done. So that was kind of what I was doing. Do I want bubbly or moon dust? I always go for bubbly, so I think I'll go for moon dust. And so then we needed to, our phone plan, we had Boost Mobile, and when we first got it, it was great, and it was inexpensive and whatever. Well, it's gotten where phones, so my oldest son had gone and gotten Verizon because he works down in the city and Boost Mobile was not working for him, so he went and got on his own plan. My husband's he's Verizon too through work, and so myself and Riley and Asher were on Boost Mobile. Well, it had gotten where our phones like just wouldn't work sometimes, like we wouldn't get signal, and things wouldn't send, and it was really annoying. And so Riley, my 18-year-old, was like looking into different phone plans and whatever, and found T-Mobile, and kind of researched about that and stuff. So since I had a migraine, I wasn't going anywhere. So the 3 of them, Brian, Riley, and Asher, went to T-Mobile, and they took my phone with them so that they could get a new SIM card or whatever, like to switch our plan. Now, I had an iPhone 7. I don't care about having the latest, fanciest phone. I don't care. As long as my phone works, I don't care. Like, it's just not really a thing for me. I don't spend like a ton of time on my phone, like doing stuff. And because I use for like YouTube and everything, like anything I watch, whatever like that, I use a laptop. So I didn't care about that. Oh my good. I don't know if you're seeing this, but I am greatly appreciating what's happening right now. Okay, this makes me happy because I wanted like a romantic kind of soft look is what I was going for. And I think it's happening. And so they, took my phone, My oldest son, Gavin, though, was home because I was like, I'm so glad you're here because it would be really weird to be here without a phone, like without any way to talk to anybody, which was good because we were supposed to be having severe storms come through, which he helped me at one point. He's like, I'm looking at the radar, stuff's coming. So we went out and like, we have like this grill that sits like on, we have this really heavy, big wood picnic table on our deck that was here actually when we bought the house. The people had built it and they just left it because it's so heavy you like can't even move it. And we have like a tabletop grill kind of thing, so it was on that. So he got the grill and brought it in, and we have some like those Adirondack chairs that are just like the plastic, you know. And so we brought those in and stuff because they'll just blow away. We don't have like a lot of trees around our house. We don't have any trees really hard. And so when the wind comes through, it just like takes everything. So he was helping me and we're bringing stuff in frantically and stuff. And I'm like, I'm so glad you're here because if I was here by myself without a phone and like severe weather was coming, I might be a little bit panicked. But then we didn't even get like, it was like nothing. It was actually kind of disappointing because I love storms and it was like not even a storm. That was weird. But anyway, so they were gone with my phone. And then my husband came home. Anniversary present, let me show you. With an iPhone 11. So he got me an iPhone 11. I don't know if you can see through. It's like a really pretty lilac color because this case is clear. And actually yesterday he called me and was like, okay, here's these cases, whatever, you know, do you want to pick one out? And so he was FaceTiming with me in the store and helping me. So I picked this phone case. It's got little rhinestones on it and flowers and it looks so pretty. This was my old pop socket, which I did not put on very straight, so I'm gonna have to fix that. But yeah, so he got me an iPhone 11 because he really wanted me to have really good camera for recording. What I'm recording on, I was going to record on it today, but I was like, no, I want to show you what I got. What I typically record on is an iPhone 6 because, believe it or not, the camera on my iPhone 6 was way better than the camera on my iPhone 7. So, like, the iPhone 6 was my old phone before I got the iPhone 7. And the iPhone 7 had, like, a weird yellow cast when I would record with it. I don't know why. So I always record on an iPhone 6. And so he was like, I wanted you to have a really nice camera. And my iPhone 7 had, like, no storage space. It was horrible. Like, it would just fill up really fast. I couldn't even record on it because it would, like, I didn't have room to do anything on it. So he got me this iPhone 11 with way more space, and it's really pretty, and I'm so excited. And it's so much bigger than my other phone, so it seems weird. I'm having to get used to that. But so I'm very excited. 2 years ago, he got me my Apple Watch, so yay. He likes all the technology stuff, but he knew that it would be something that I would get a lot of use out of and stuff. So I will have to start recording my videos with that camera and see what it's like. So I'm going to go ahead and do my face makeup off camera, and then we'll come back and I have another little story to tell you, and we'll finish up my eyes. Okay, so I went ahead and tight lined my upper lash line with black before this because I know a lot of people don't like to watch that. So a couple little side notes. For one, I do not wear my wedding ring. I wear this Pandora ring to work because I'm opening boxes and I do retail, so I do stocking and I do like work the register and like the bag carousel. I smack my hands off that all the time and stuff. So I learned really quickly when I first started working there that I probably did not want to wear my wedding ring because I was afraid of knocking like diamonds loose or something. So but I always wear this ring, so not that some people care whether you're married or not, the way they act toward you, but you know, hey. But I am wearing earrings that I got on our 1-year anniversary. We, on our honeymoon, part of our honeymoon, we went to Niagara Falls, the Canada side, for part of our honeymoon, and we camped at the Pinery in Canada for the other part of our honeymoon, which I'm going to link up here the video where I tell some stories about that camping trip because it was hilarious, and also it's a really good eye look in that video. It's with Makeup Geek shadows, and I am so proud of that look. It's probably my favorite look ever, so if you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out because it's funny stories and a really good look. But anyway, so we, on our 1-year anniversary, we went and camped again at the Pinery. And there is a town near there called Grand Bend. And we went there. We had gone there on our honeymoon too. And they have all these little shops and stuff. And I got these earrings in one of those little shops on our 1 year anniversary. And they're still to this day one of my favorite things. I'll come up close and show you. They just have a little stone, like a, I don't know what you call it. I want to say it was called moonstone or something, but so I thought I would wear those to work today. I'll wear bigger earrings for later when we go out, but that seemed like a good idea to wear to work today. So for those of you who don't know, my husband Brian and I met in first grade. We were 6 years old. I had moved downstate in Michigan from up north, and that was when we first met, and we immediately became friends. We, in second grade, had a little crush on each other, and I remember writing him this very detailed note. It was on like sticky notes, and it would have a question, and the next page would be yes or no. And then he got them all mixed up and flustered, and so he just didn't do it. This is his personality still to this day. I love it. And so it cracks me up to think back to stories like that. In third grade, we were boyfriend and girlfriend, and he used his allowance money to buy me a monkey Valentine card, which I still wish I still had. Like, those are things as a mom, if your kids bring home stuff like that, keep them, because you never know. Someday that might end up being their husband, and that would be a really fantastic thing to still have. So, yes, definitely wish I still had that. I, like, can somewhat remember it, but, yeah. So we were friends all through school. We dated between 10th and 11th grade a little bit, but it just felt very weird to me because he was super nice to me, and I had dated, like, this guy who wasn't very nice to me all through high school, and then went back to that same not so nice guy. The dumb things we do. And but we were always great friends. We hung out all the time and stuff like that. And we, after school and everything, I actually started dating a different guy who I got engaged to. Really dumb. I was young. I was like 19. And he also wasn't that nice to me. I had a track record for that. I was like, I'm a fixer. It's like I want to help people or something. And not like, I'm not saying these guys were terrible and needed my fixing. I don't mean that. But like, they just were not the right person for me. And so anyway, I was dating this guy, and he told me, well, and Brian had been leaving to go up north hunting with his brother, which Brian doesn't even hunt. So it's kind of funny. But anyway, it was his brother does. So I think it was just more of a trip with his brother. And so he had come in. I worked at a tanning salon at the time, and he had come in and said goodbye to me, that he was heading up north, whatever. I mean, we were great friends. We saw each other all the time, and we would hang out in groups, not just him and I, but like we had another friend that he actually lived. They shared an apartment together. A guy we graduated with, and I would hang out with the two of them, and like, or we'd just go out places and do stuff. It was just, I don't know. He was my best friend, you know. And so he came to tell me goodbye, and left to go up north. Well, while he was gone, I had been having issues with this guy that I was engaged to anyway. And one of my good friends called me and told me he had seen this guy at the bar dancing with other girls and whatever. And I was like, you know what the heck am I doing? Because he had already told me, this guy had already told me, that if we were getting married, I couldn't see Brian at all anymore. And I was like, he's my best friend. Like, what do you mean I can't see him? And he's like, well, if we're going to be together, then you can't see him anymore. And I was already having a really hard time with that. And like, here's this person who makes me happy, who I enjoy spending time with and always have. I've known for forever, you know. And he's telling me like I can't spend time with him anymore. And, you know, still, duh. And so we had been having issues anyway, and then my friend called me, and it was a guy friend of mine who I trusted, and told me what he had seen and who he had seen it with, and I knew, like, when he said it, I knew right away that he was telling the truth. And so I called my fiance. I mean, seriously, I was 19, and it was so dumb. I never should have got engaged to him. I can't believe my parents didn't throw like a big fit when I did. They weren't happy, but they didn't like make a big deal out of it. But I think they knew that it would self-implode, so they didn't like make a big deal out of it, because you know how teenagers are. If you do that, like sometimes they're going to push even harder their way, even if it's not the right way. So I think my parents handled that very well. And so you know, I called this guy and confronted him about it, and he basically was like, yep, I was, and whatever. And I was like, what are we doing? Like, why are we together? This is completely stupid. You know, you're trying to tell me I can't see my best friend anymore. Like, this isn't what I want. Clearly, it's not what you want, you know, kind of thing. And so we broke up. And I felt so ecstatic because I could not wait to tell Brian. And doesn't it tell you it all right there? In fact, my great-grandma from Kansas, my cousin Debbie Niblack, who has a channel here. If you don't know, you need to know. I'll have it down in the description box. My great-grandma was her grandma. And she's my second cousin. And my great-grandma had been here that summer. And from Kansas, she had come to Michigan because she would come up and stay for like, you know, a month or two at a time, things like that. And she was at my house, and Brian had come over and whatever a couple different times when she was there. And she said to me, she goes, Danielle, you're going to marry that boy. And I was like, Grandma, he's my friend. And she's like, you're going to marry that boy someday. And I was like, okay, you know, whatever, Grandma. And didn't she know it? And she was at my wedding, you better believe it, which was like the best thing ever. And her and Brian's grandma wore the same dress. I loved it. It was the cutest thing ever. But not on purpose, but it was so cute. But yeah, so I could not wait to tell Brian that I broke up with, I'm not gonna say his name, with this guy. And so I'm calling because at the time they didn't have cell phones. Okay, yeah, it's been that long. So I am calling our friend, like the apartment where they live, and I'm like, Ryan, is Brian there? And he's like, no. And Ryan always wanted Brian and I to be together. So, you know, I'm like, okay, well, as soon as he gets home, because he was supposed to be coming home that day from up north. And I'm like, as soon as he gets home, tell him to call me. And he's like, all right, you know, whatever. Well, I kept calling because I'm like, where the heck is he? He's like, I promise, as soon as he gets here, I'll have him call you. And he's like, he was like excited. And I didn't even tell him why, but it was like he knew, you know. And so Brian said when he got home, Ryan was like at the door, like, you need to call Danielle right. Well, they called me Powser because that's my maiden name. So he's like, you need to call Powser right now. And so he called me, and I told him the news that I was no longer engaged. In fact, we weren't together at all anymore. And basically the rest is history, because then it was like, I've loved you for forever. I mean, he, you know, was sure to let me know that. And I had loved him too. I don't know. Young and dumb, I guess. I don't know. You know, I was from a small town, and I guess you're always thinking like, oh, well, you know, maybe I don't want to stay like, you know, somebody that I grew up with here. Like, there's a great big world out there. It could be, this guy was like the next town over, and it wasn't a great town. So I don't know what I was thinking. But, you know, and it was just, so we, you know, started hanging out and dating, and here we are 21 years later. And, it's been the best thing in the world. And I could cry about it because I'm just so happy to have a husband who I have so much fun with. We have so much fun. We laugh every day. We crack up about stupid stuff. We say the same stuff at the same time. Like, it's obnoxious. Our kids are like, oh my gosh. I even, a lot of times I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so like nerdy. We were meant to be. I mean, we just were. And so I'm so thankful that, I didn't like get married to someone else and go through a divorce and all that stuff before I discovered it. I'm glad things happened the way they did. And I think too, dating guys that weren't that great to me, you know, didn't treat me that nice, it makes me appreciate so much more who Brian is. He's like the most amazing man, like not just husband, just an amazing man. He's humble, and he is sweet, and my nose is running, sorry. He, you know, he puts others before him all the time. Other people's needs and wants, he always puts before his own, in everything, like from the littlest things, from like food stuff to time or whatever. Like, he is just the perfect example of a godly man. And I'm just so thankful to be his wife, and he treats me like a princess. He cooks, he grocery shops, he dotes on me. He adores me and I adore him, and it's like 21 years of marriage with him has flown by because it has been so good. Not to say we didn't have rough, rocky times, and I will admit those were me. I was the one causing them, which if you have not seen my testimony before, I will link that video here as well. That will kind of explain a little bit to you. He stood by my side through so many things, so many hard things and hurtful things to him that I did, that he, you know, he knew the real me and he wasn't giving up on me. And I'm so thankful for that. And so I'm so thankful to be here 21 years later, still as his wife, still super overjoyed to be his wife. And yeah, so oh, I could do another later. I wanted to tell you one other quick thing that has nothing to do with us or our anniversary, but it's just something that happened, something I dreamt last night that just made my heart happy. My grandma passed away last February, so February was a year. Her name was Rita Margaret. Her favorite drink was margaritas. She passed away on National Margarita Day, or International Margarita, whatever it's called. But anyway, and she was just one heck of a lady. That was my grandma Powser. So when I say, like, my friends used to call me Powser, that was my maiden name, so it's my dad's mom. And last night I had this dream that, and it's funny how your mind does these things, that I had parked on the side of a road somewhere, like a side street, you know, where houses were, like I was going to someone's house. And I looked out just in time to see, I had just gotten out of my vehicle and was going to go across the street. And I looked back just in time to see my grandma walk out from the garage of this house as a car was pulling up. She was in all her Detroit Lions garb because she was a Detroit Lions fan through and through. My uncle, her youngest son, works for the Lions. And she went to every game. I mean, season ticket holder, front row, until she could no longer get up and down the stairs. And actually, she had 2 tickets. And the other person that she took to use her ticket was my husband, Brian, would go with her every week. And there was always a certain time during the game that she would send him to get her a Pepsi. And so that was a very special time for him as well, that he got to spend all that time with my grandma and watch the Lions because he loves football. So really cool thing. But anyway, so my grandma was all decked out in her Lions wear, and I see her coming down the driveway. But in my mind, I know that's not her, or it can't be her. And, you know, who's this person coming to pick her up? But I say hi to her, and she lights up, and oh, hi, you know, and telling me, oh, and she was doing her normal, like, goofy, I don't know how to explain it, like, you just have to know her mannerisms, you know. And then my uncle walks up, her youngest son, and he went up to, like, help her over to this car, and he kind of touched her back, and she looked at him funny, and he said, oh, I'm sorry, because he knew she didn't know who he was. It was the strangest thing, but there was something so happy about it, and the way she was smiling at me and hearing her talk and just seeing her mannerisms, it was like getting a glimpse of her again for a minute. And it just made me wake up in, like, a really good mood. And I miss her like crazy. I miss her grabbing my face and telling me how much she loves me and kissing me. And one of my favorite things is when she was starting to get, well, she would do this thing all the time. If you were by her and she thought you looked pretty or something, she'd go, you're so pretty. And she'd, like, hit you. Or, like, geez, like, I hate to look good around you. You know, it's like this joke. And this one day when she got dementia pretty bad, and at the end there, and there were days where she wouldn't remember certain people or things like that. And I had gone with my mom and dad. I used to go with my dad all the time. We would go, like, every week, and sometimes more than once a week, and go visit her for the day. And I treasure those times, getting to spend that time with my dad and her. My dad would brush her hair, and it was just the most beautiful thing. And so this one time I went with my mom and dad to go visit her, and actually my youngest son Asher was with us too. And my grandma kept looking at me, just really looking at me. So my mom said, do you know who she is? And she goes, she's beautiful. And I said, that's good enough for me. And so it was so cute. My nose keeps running because I'm tearing up. And then she said, "That's Danielle." And I was like, "Yep, it's me, Grandma." And it was just the cutest thing. Like, she's beautiful. I loved it so much. So like things like that that just touch your heart and, you know, stay in your memory. And so just to have that dream about her and seeing her, and even though it wasn't like I could be like, "Oh, Grandma," it was, I was able to talk to her and she was smiling and I could see her personality. And so it was just really cool. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because it was just something special that, I don't know, touched my heart today. And I'm going to use this CoverGirl lip gloss. It is in the shade Colorish. No, Coloricious is the name of the thing. It's 610 Honeyed Kiss. My cousin Debbie sent this to me, and it is one of my favorite lip glosses now. It's so pretty. I love the smell of it. It's not like, it's not like super color. It just adds like a really pretty sheen to your lips. It adds a honeyed kiss. Yeah, I'm just trying to make the name make sense. But so that is my final look for today. So when I get home today, I will change into cuter clothes and just fix up my makeup a little bit. It feels so good to have like my hair down and curled. And yay, I am so excited for today, for my anniversary. Obviously you guys won't be seeing it on my anniversary, but I'm so thankful for my husband. Brian, I love you. He watches my videos. He always supports me. So Brian, I love you so much. I can't wait to spend tonight with you and just go out to eat and like do something kind of normal, even though we'll probably have to wear masks part of the time. That's all right. Memories, right? We've been through a lot together. This is just, you know, another strange little part. So thank you guys so much for watching. I know this is probably long and I apologize, but not really, because I shared things that I'm really excited about, things that just make me happy, and let you know more about me. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye.